inspiration, motivation, where do you take it from? That is one of the hardest feelings for me. And it's almost like linked to depression because for me, the hardest feeling is being unmotivated, being uninspired, not having that zest, that aliveness, that feeling of like, yes, I'm doing this because I want to. And it's hard for me when I don't have that, when I don't have that inspiration, when I don't have that creativity, right? A lot of times it's on the heels of a very busy work week or two, which is hard because I love my work, I enjoy my work, but when it gets too busy to where just like the operating parts of the business, when that gets too busy and I don't leave enough time for creativeness, for creativity, for those moments of just connecting to my higher self and just pulling through whatever needs to come through right now to serve you, my audience, the best, I get down. I get really depressed. So, what do we do? How are you feeling? What do you do when you are down, when you can feel yourself kind of in this downward spiral, when you're waking up in a funk day after day, when you're feeling like you're barely pulling yourself up to the surface to breathe and then you're kind of getting dunked under, right? What do you do in those moments? So have you written yourself a list, right? You can call it my back to alignment list, my getting in the vortex list for fellow Abrahamics people, your get happy list, whatever you want to call it. Sure, get happy list sounds good to me. What do we do? What is on that list? Gosh, by now there are so many things on my list because it's been over such a long span of time. And gosh, negative emotions are so tricky. I feel like every time I'm down, it's something else that I need. So a lot of times looking down that list, I might look down 49 items and I'm like, nope, 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 nope. And then by the 50th, I'm like, yes, I can do that. But there are a couple of them that are kind of staples for me that really help me. So one of the first ones is music. Put on some music, something with a good beat, something that makes you happy, something that speaks of happiness, something that makes you want to dance. If you move your body, so good. The next one that I like to do is a workout. For me, that really helps. I combine my work, any like workout, walking in nature, even just that. Oh my gosh, this morning I got outside for the first time, just me without a kiddo. The sun was shining and I'm just like, I've missed this. This feels so good. It's like it sounds so simple. Just get outside in the sunshine and go for a walk. It's like, oh, what's that going to do? But oh my gosh, it does something. It feels so good. Try it. Yoga, small little movements, whatever you can do, get moving. A lot of times one of my first choices is the Stairmaster. I love the Stairmaster. I find it great that I have a small little apartment gym that actually has a Stairmaster. A lot of times I'm alone in this gym, which is amazing. And then I like to read. I like to read old journals. I like to read anything inspirational, and I can do the two at the same time, right? I'm getting my blood pumping. I'm getting my heart going. I'm getting my body physically in a different state. And then I can follow that with a mental state that is different. And that's already the next one on my list is read. Read something. Have a list of books or authors or speakers, YouTube videos, something that inspires you. And for me, I've even fine-tuned that list because sometimes I need something nurturing, right? Then I usually listen to a channel like Abraham Hicks or Bajar or Elan or the Pleiadians, something that's soothing, something that reminds me of my spiritual nature. And then other times I need something motivational, something more kick-ass, something more like, oh my gosh, I need to be reminded of how strong I am, right? That's when I put on Brendon Bouchard or Tony Robbins or, insert your favorite motivational speaker. And yeah, kind of the last category is that kind of even more amped up on this, like the kick-ass, like, yes, I can do it. And you can even do it more specifically. Sometimes I need it very specific to what my issue is. If it's in business, then I need something very specific, motivational in business. Here are the step-by-step. You can absolutely do this. Know your list. Have your list. What do I need? Just start reading. I can't tell you how many times I have gotten myself out of like way deep down, depressed, anxious, not feeling good, feeling down on life kind of moods just by getting on that Stairmaster every morning and reading for a solid 30 to 45 minutes, just reading, being reminded of what is true, of what is actually true. So important. Another one on this list is do something fun. Oh my gosh, we do not take enough time to play. We don't take enough time for ourselves, especially as busy moms and dads. And I know even you without kiddos, I get reminded by my little sister all the time. She has a lot of fur babies, but she gets busy too. I know we lead busy lives and we forget to play because at the end of the day we are so tired. So take the time to play. Do something fun. Do something you haven't done for yourself in quite a while. Even if at the end of the day, 5 or 10 minutes, look up something on YouTube that is just totally different. Like I sometimes look up just different artists, right? Like artists that draw with sand, artists that even spray paint artists like that, street artists, just amazing. The creativity and just like the awe that I feel when I watch these people in their genius is just, that creates a whole different feeling. Imagine going to sleep with that feeling rather than with a feeling of dread, right? And then another thing on this list is meditating, right? Meditating, journaling. Sometimes, like this morning, meditation was not going to happen for me because my mind just kept spiraling into the negative. It just kept spiraling. Even though I did a guided meditation of like, think of something you're appreciative, feel that energy flowing through you, think of a beautiful moment. It's like I would connect to these things for a moment and then my brain would just spin it into something negative. So when I'm in that kind of state, it's really hard for me to meditate. And I was thinking, one, I can use the ABC game by Abraham Hicks, right? Where you just go through the whole alphabet and at every letter you pick a word that is uplifting, that's inspiring, that feels good to you. Like A, appreciation, B, bliss. And then really when you're saying that word, connect to it. It's like, what does that mean? What does bliss mean to me? Oh yeah, I'm laying on a beach, So connect to these words as you're going through the alphabet. That is a great way to meditate because it's really all about sitting still and getting that brain to slow down its negative spin and start to go more into a positive spin. It's also a good exercise for when you're laying in bed at night and you can't sleep because all these anxious thoughts are in your brain. And then there's another thing that I like to do, and this is one of my favorites and a thing that I probably use the most when I'm in a down mood, and that is journaling. Journaling has been so important in my life and so just it gives me clarity, it gives me insight, and it gives me that sense of like, now it's out of me, right? I no longer have to carry that burden because it's out of me. I have written it all down. And I usually just start with a mind dump, which I call it, of just writing everything down. How am I feeling? Why am I feeling like this? What am I thinking is so unjust at the moment? What am I pissed about? What do I wish was different? What is my beef with life right now? And I just write it all down. So I invite you to write that down, right? If you're watching this video because the last couple of weeks or months or year has been kind of getting you into this negative tailspin, write it down. Let's do this exercise. What is it that you are feeling at this moment? What are you feeling? Are you feeling discouraged? Are you feeling disappointed? Are you feeling anxious? Are you feeling tired? Are you feeling, what is it that you're feeling? And then I would invite you for each one of these feelings, write down why. Why do you think you're feeling that way? What is it that you're saying to yourself in your head about this, right? Because I had all these feelings and all these mixed things and I felt like I couldn't really hone in on anything. I just had this glob bad feeling about this past year. And I was like, what is it about this past year that I am so disappointed about? And so I really had to pick it apart. And it always helps me to gain clarity by using the 7 key areas of my life. You've heard me talk about these all the time. It's just the way that I structure it and kind of get clarity on it. I'm going to quickly tell them to you again so you can write them down. Love, relationship, right? Now, number 2 is family, kids, any kind of other relationship, friends, your coworkers, any other relationship except for that first, love, deep connection relationship. Career is number 3, your work that you're doing. Number 4 is finances, money. How are you feeling about that right now? Number 5 is health, vitality, fitness. How are you feeling in your body? And number 6 is spirituality, or also just, self-care. How are you doing? What are you doing for yourself? What is it that keeps you in a good mental attitude? And then number 7 is just hobbies, travel, anything that you do for fun. So take these 7 key areas and kind of look at what emotions that you have written down are matching with these, right? For me, it was very heavily on the relationship side, where I felt a lot of sadness and grief because this year was, just like a long year of kind of letting go of a 3.5 year relationship, right? In the beginning of the year was more like kind of getting that feeling that it was probably time to move on, but not wanting to have it be real. And so then I kind of dragged it on. Plus my, boyfriend at the time was really asking me for more time to see if something would shift for him. So I gave him that time, gave us that time, really worked on it. We had a lot of communication. But then by July, right, it took me a half a year to be like, okay, this is not working. We really just want different things. We care about each other tremendously. We have grown into such amazing friends. We love each other deeply, but we fundamentally want very opposite things in life right now, in the relationship right now. So we had to make that decision to let it go. And it was hard. And initially I was like, okay, that's done. A lot of times for me, I processed ahead of time, so I should be good to go. I'm like done with this now. But then I realized it was just like layer after layer after layer of like grieving this relationship of 3.5 years, of the hopes and dreams that I had with this man and for this man. And I feel like it's still coming in layers, especially because we're very close connected still, right? We're still talking almost every single day. We're really working on building that friendship, which is not always easy to do once you had a romantic connection like that. But it is worth it. But it's just so interesting how that general feeling of that part, that part of the 7 key areas was very much linked with sadness. And it was also, linked with a bit of disappointment of like, oh my gosh, we both put so much into this relationship, and I don't want to call it a failure because it wasn't, right? We got a beautiful friendship out of it. But especially in this time in my life, where I'm 41, I have 1 kid. We went into this relationship really wanting, or at least me, wanting a second kid. And now kind of noticing that that ship has sailed. And I now have to like move on with my life, knowing that this is not going to come to pass. So there's a lot of grief and a lot of disappointment and sometimes even anger that comes up around this, right? So look at the emotions that you're feeling right now and then match them to the different key areas, right? Business was the other one that was very big for me this year because I had set very big goals for myself of how I wanted to progress in business, right? I have never seen myself as a very strong business woman. I just have a huge heart and so much empathy, and I just want to help. I just want to be here. I just want to share what has helped me, the tools that have helped me to live a more fulfilled life. But I was like, okay, this is the year where I'm going to learn. I'm going to understand how I can market myself better. I'm going to progress in my business. I'm going to make this more prosperous. I can do this. And towards the end of the year now, I'm just like, I'm having to acknowledge the mistakes that I've made. I have to acknowledge that I'm nowhere near where I wanted to be at this point in time. So once again, I take the emotions that I'm feeling as I'm waking up every day, as I'm going through my day. What emotions am I feeling? What emotions are matching with this key area in my life? So I'm hoping you have grabbed a pen and paper and you have written down these 7 key areas and you're starting to write down your emotions and what you are feeling about your 2023. And then I'm wanting you to ask some questions, right? Why am I feeling this? What are the stories in my head? What am I telling myself about this? Because so often when we start to go into that negative spiral, right? For me, it'd be very easy for this whole relationship to be like, I have failed. I can't believe that I even started this relationship. I was so blind. I should have known that this wasn't going to work. I should have known that we want different things. It's so easy to spiral into the negative. And that's when it's so good to like write it down. Write it down. Because once it's in black and white in front of you on a piece of paper, you're like, haha, okay, I get it. Mind, you're just like going off on your own thing here. Got it. It's easier to see it as ridiculous when it's written in front of you. And it also gives you it allows you to feel whatever you're feeling. So often when I'm busy, when I'm doing something and I can't process that emotion right away, I'm doing dishes or whatever, spending time with my kid, and I can't take the time to write and process the emotion, and I'm trying to like mentally process these emotions, it doesn't work for me. I just loop back and back and back and back and back around to the same thing. I can't process my emotions in my head. I have to write them down. Because in my head, I will immediately criticize myself. I'm like, oh, Christine, you can't say that. You can't feel this about this other person. That's not nice. Versus when I'm writing, my rule is I get to write down anything. It doesn't mean that that is actually true. It just means what it does mean is this is how I'm feeling in this moment with whatever belief system I'm filtering this through, right? So this is just whatever I'm feeling in the moment. And the ego so often wants to be like, well, do you even have a reason? You know, be more appreciative. Look at everything you have in your life. You have it pretty easy compared to somebody else over here. But especially as HSPs, right? We love doing that because we like to compare ourselves going, oh my gosh, why are you acting like this? When there are people who have it really hard and they get off their butts every day and make this happen, right? Anyway, where was I? I journal, I process by writing things down, and I have this rule that I get to write down anything because I'm allowed to feel whatever I'm feeling, whether I have a reason, quote unquote, a good reason or not. I get to feel whatever I'm feeling. And then watch what comes up, right? For me, a big one that always comes up is that feeling of I have failed. I have failed, right? I am sometimes very much a black and white person. I feel like being highly sensitive kind of lends us to that because we're extremes. We're high, low, we're black or white, right? So it's like that black and white feeling of like it's either all or nothing. I'm either doing fantastic or I'm freaking failing, right? And for me, when I get down in this feeling of like I am failing, it's just like, ugh. It's just like, ugh, what's the point in living? What's the point of me getting up tomorrow morning? I am failing at this, and I've been failing at this, right? So, what are you feeling? And then ask yourself, is this really true, right? Then I start questioning myself like, Christine, is that really true? Am I really failing? And it feels like I'm failing at everything, right? And it's so easy to then go through these 7 key areas and just be like, yep, I'm failing here, I'm failing here, I'm failing here. You're like picking out the little bitty sand corn in all of these 7 key areas where you could have done better, right? But then you have that opportunity to question it and to say, am I really failing? Is that really true? Whatever I am feeling, the feeling that I'm so intense within me, the thing that I'm feeling so weighing so much on me. Is it actually true? So then list it. List all these things. And that's what I did for my 2023. All these things that I was like, oh my God, I failed here. I failed that. I messed this up. I did really bad here. These are all the times I was a bad mom. This is the times where I could have done better here. You know, list all these things for your 2023 that you feel like you sucked at, you failed at, you did not rise to meet the challenge. And once you get all that out, take a deep breath, smile, and then do whatever it takes to look at the positive. For me, it helps to look through photos. Look through all the photos of this last year. You know, if you have a kid, there are a lot of kid photos. And then you get these glimpses, these moments, right, of what actually went well, when you did have a good time. And even just like a big stronghold for me for this relationship, you know, it's like, why did I drag this on for another year? I probably could have ended this a year ago. But to remember those moments, those deep connected moments, those conversations that we had. And we had a fantastic, 3-day getaway for my birthday, which was incredible. I had not done that in many, many years. And I feel like that was such a beautiful moment from this last year. And that is something that I then really emphasized. I was like, this whole last year wasn't just rubbish, And there actually were some beautiful moments, right? And then I kind of remembered of like, what were my challenges? What was so tough for me? And how did I solve them? How did I meet them, right? At the beginning of last year, I was very anxious and worried about which school, which kindergarten to pick for my son, because school is a whole nother beast for me. There are a lot of uncomfortable feelings that are linked to school and the school system, and I just wanted to find something that fits my values and that fits my son the best. And oh my gosh, have I accomplished that. So I was like, this year might have felt really turbulent, but we also started a whole new schedule. This is the first time that I'm having to adhere to like a Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30 schedule in many, 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 many years. I've worked for myself for so many years. I don't have that regular schedule. So even just fitting into that regular schedule, right? And then daycare closing on Sundays. I no longer could work Sundays. That was a big thing in March that I handled with grace. And just looking down the list of all these things, we found an amazing Ninja Warrior gym for my son, which he absolutely loves. This has been like our hangout spot twice a week, and he just loves it. He loves the teachers there. I love the workout and their whole approach. It's such a positive, uplifting place for me to be in. It kind of fulfills that like gym life that I used to lead for so many years. So there were so many beautiful nuggets this year. It's just like, yes, there were some great times this year. So find yours.